Welcome back to the Smart Money Blueprint Volume 1. Everything about private loans and hard money lending. My name is Adonis Lockett, and in this module, we're going to be discussing the importance of verifying your experience. Oh, viewer. You've heard me this whole education series talk about a handful of the same thing over and over. One, relationships, and then two, experience being king in the private sector. There is often nothing more important than verifying your experience, because what you will find is that when a lender knows you are less risk, you know what you're doing, they are confident you will get in and out of their loan, you will find they're not only willing to extend courtesies, very often they're willing to bend over backwards to earn your business. I want to jump into some of the things that come with verifying your experience. And when I say verifying your experience, I don't mean you verifying your experience. I mean you verifying your experience to a lender, right? Check this out. First and foremost, the thing you want to start with is always ask a lender about experience requirements, right? You want to make sure you understand if a lender has experience requirements. Now, before I even jump into any of the more details, if I'm introducing myself to a lender for the very first time, one thing early in the conversation I'm going to do is lead with my experience, because the first thing I want to let them know is that, one, I know what I'm doing. Two, not only do I know what I want, I also know how to play the game. And when you can present that level of confidence and level set early on, it actually allows you to be a little bit more assertive in telling the lender what you want versus asking them what they can do. So when a lender focuses on experience, especially when you have a lot of experience or you have a lot of experience with that lender, you'll find that you can position yourself to not only get more, you can actually start telling the lender a few things you'd like of them. So with that said, more experience means higher lender confidence for your ability to perform. The more deals I've shown that I've done, the more the lender is confident that whatever loan they issue me, I'm going to perform. So for me, to date, the number of deals that I've done, there's not a lender that I sit down with that I say, hey, here's what I want. I want the best everything day one that I don't get, because my track record shows that every loan I have ever done, I have entered and exited. That means that none of the lenders who've ever done a loan for me have lost money. You want to be able to show that to the lender. By verifying your experience, meaning by always keeping a up-to-date document about your experience, at any time you can pull out your track record and say, check this out, 10 deals done from 50,000 to 500,000, boom, I'm ready to get some more deals done with you, but I need your best. Which leads into the very next point. You can sit down with the lender and say, new relationship, yes, but I want higher leverage. It is very clear that I know what I'm doing. It is very clear that I can get in and out of your loan, and I've been offered very competitive leverage. I need to know what's the best that you can do for me to bring in my 20 deals a year to your shop. It also allows you to be very assertive in asking for the best interest rate. Hey lender, I understand new relationship, but I'm getting very competitive interest rates here. As you can see, my track record shows that I'm going to be in and out. My average in and out time is 3 months. So I want a very competitive interest rate, because by the time I get them churning and burning, I'm going to be gone. So I want to make sure I can get the best interest rate from you, because it's clear that I can get in and out of your loan quickly. And of course, lower or more competitive origination fees. Now, let me pause real quick. I'm kind of 50-50 here, because most lenders get paid on their origination fees, and most lenders who offer exceptional service or exceptional products price accordingly. So now, the goal is, and remember, I've said this in previous modules, the goal is always not to grind everyone down to the lowest dollar to the point where it's questionable if they're even making money. The goal is to find a very comfortable sweet spot, both for the lender and for you, for what you're getting and what you're providing. So yes, I will always go for lower origination fees, but then I'm also open to the service or the product that I'm getting from the lender. So for example, if I have a lender that says, hey, I can close your deal in 24 hours, I'm not going to compare their origination fee for a lender that needs 3 weeks. It's not an apples to apples comparison. And I want to make sure that you're clear about that. When you're comparing what one lender can do to the next, make sure it is a true apples to apples. Most lenders cannot close in 24 hours. So to expect the lender that closes in 24 hours to have the exact same interest rate, origination fee, and third-party fees as the lender that takes a minimum of 3 weeks to close is irresponsible, right? Pay people for what they are worth. You pay people for what they're worth or the service that they provide. So if this lender that can close in 24 hours is charging a premium, just imagine what that does for my real estate investing business. Hey lender, yes, you are charging 2.5 points or 3 points. My other lender is charging 1.5 points. The difference is I can put an offer together that says, hey, I can close in 5 days. So how much more does that make me competitive when I'm competing with 10 other investors to say I can close in 5 days where the next investor needs 3 weeks? So now that service or that extra 1 point or 1.5 point pays for itself a million times over because I can walk into a situation and be more competitive than the rest of the industry. So make sure when lenders are charging a premium for a premium service, you are not trying to get them to grind down to what the run of the mill is. Pay for quality work, you get quality service. Your track record will also allow you to be eligible for larger loan amounts or project sizes. Again, remember I've mentioned previously, a lot of lenders like to limit their exposure with any one borrower just to make sure if that borrower goes left, they don't lose a lot of money in defaults. Now, if I sit down with a lender and show them my 50 property track record, showing that I've done multiple $1 million deals, they're more inclined to step out of their comfort zone with a borrower like me because I have clearly conveyed my ability to get in and out of a deal, big or small. So you want to sit down and talk to the lender about, hey, once I start getting traction, or once I'm doing 10 deals a month, or once I've done a couple $1 million deals, I like to start coming to you for these larger deals, but I also need the terms to be competitive, and you'll find that the lender may actually not only be open to doing larger deals, but being more competitive in their terms as part of the process. You'll also find the lender is a lot more lenient in approving certain deal types or property types they may necessarily say no to. So for example, the lender that I work with normally doesn't lend on 2-bed, 1-bath houses. Now, the thing about it is that I've been doing loans with this lender for 10 years, and my investment strategy is actually buying 2-bed, 1-bath houses and making them 3-2s. So if I was any other borrower coming to them for the first time, the moment they see the property, they would actually just say no. But because I have a relationship, there goes that word again, because I have a relationship with the lender, they understand my strategy, they're actually okay making an exception for me doing a 2-1 because my strategy is buy 2 1s, make them 3 2s, and I've proven it to them over the last 10 years that that is the bread and butter of my investment strategy. So not only are they okay with it, they actually now call me to say, hey, we've turned down a 2-1 deal, but if you're interested, I'd be willing to loan to you. So not only did they make an exception for it, they're actually now calling me to offering me properties that they're willing to fund. And just like that, the relationship not only got me an exception, it got me another deal. That's in that same instance, the lender also will allow for exceptions or special consideration based on your experience. For example, if you've done a lot of ground up construction, that lender may not do ground up construction, but if you've shown that you've been in and out of 10 or 15 ground up deals, they may say, you know what, you're the borrower that I'm okay taking a risk on. So you'd be surprised about how many times the lender will step out of their comfort zone to accommodate a high-performing borrower based off of them reviewing your track record, understanding you know how to get in and out of that property type, and you'd be the few exceptions for them stepping out of their comfort zone. And believe it or not, it happens way more often than you think. So with that said, I'm gonna let you know right now, as part of verifying your experience, you will not only get far by having a clear and concise schedule of real estate showing your experience, but you will go infinitely further if you find 1 or 2 lenders that you predominantly send your business to. The combination of your experience being clearly documented, plus you giving lenders repeat volume, will allow you to be very successful, will allow for a lot of exceptions, a lot of consideration that normally wouldn't be issued. But again, especially when you're coming to a lender for the first time, the more clearly and accurately you can not only document your schedule of real estate experience, but provide the documentation to substantiate that, such as the closing HUDs, the operating agreement showing you are part of the entity. The more you can present upfront to say, here's all the proof that shows that this is my experience, the easier you'll get to not only getting approval, but jumping right in to the lender providing their best terms available. Now, with that said, your SREO, especially to an experience-driven lender, is the most important document they're going to get from you. Credit, sure. Bank statements, whatever. Your SREO is them being comfortable that you are a safe bet. So when I want to stress, however you go about presenting your SREO, you want to make sure the information is completed fully and there is no gaps of information. That includes identifying the property address, the name of the entity or the name that was on title when it was purchased, when you bought it, how much you bought it for, how much rehab was done, when you sold it, how much you sold it for, what, like the turn time or any specialty things such as I tore it down and rebuilt. You want to identify the property type. Hey, here's all my single families, here's all my new constructions, here's all my multifamilies. You want to give your SREO, and you want to put as much information as humanly possible because you want a lender to not only be impressed, you want them to be blown away, not just your schedule, but how thoroughly it was filled out and how comprehensive you are in your initial presentation of your request to do business with them. And I'm gonna tell you, that will go a million miles pretty much with any lender. Now, it's also important you understand how your experience is verified. Trust me when I tell you, you giving a lender a spreadsheet is not going to be the end of that line. They're actually going to go and pull title to make sure the information matches. They're going to pull public records to make sure that your name was associated with the business that actually bought and sold that property. They're going to make sure that you are tied to the business on public records. Trust me when I tell you, you can come with a spreadsheet dressed all up as much as you want, but if the information in there is not accurate or you are selling wolf tickets about your experience, the lender not only will call it out, it may be the reason they don't want to work with you at all. So I want to stress to you, your experience will be verified. The information you put on your SREO will be verified. You don't want yourself to be in a situation where you have blatantly lied about your experience, because not only will that turn them off from wanting to give you their best terms, it may actually prevent them from wanting to do business with you altogether. So I'm going to infinitely stress, if you are a project manager, that is not experience. If you were a fee builder, that means that you were just the builder that an investor paid, that is not experience. If you were the general contractor, that is not experience. That's not to say the lender won't count that as credit towards experience, but you building 100 houses for someone else does not mean you were an investor that built 100 houses. And I know that may sound a bit brash, but the truth of the matter is, the way the lenders verify experience, it has to be your name, your company name, your signature that was on title, your company name on title, your signature that's signed as the obligator for that loan, or you have to be part of the entity that signed on, that was the ownership for that property. So no matter how many projects you've managed, GC'd, built, or have shadowed someone, that is not experience, and do not try to pass it off as experience. You're only going to embarrass yourself. Now, before I move on, I do want to highlight, well, Adonis, what if I don't have experience, but I want the opportunity to work with a good lender? There is a solution to that. Find someone with experience and partner with them. Find someone with experience and ask them to partner, but with these conditions. First, do more, have them do less. So if there's 20 things that need to be done, let them know you'll do 16 of those things, they only need to do 4. If the project's gonna cost $20,000 total out of pocket or $50,000 total out of pocket, whatever it is, you pay 75% of the cost and ask them to pay 25%. If you're gonna make $50,000, pay them 65% of the proceeds, you take 35% of the proceeds. Well, hold on, Adonis, well, why in the hell would I do that? Simple. For me, if I've done 100 deals, right, and I want you to follow with me and be open-minded to what I'm about to say. If I've done 100 deals, I have relationships with my lenders, my teams, everything. I literally just churn and burn, boom, boom, boom. You say, hey, Adonis, I'd like to partner with you on a deal. This is my first deal. My first question to you would be, okay, what value do you bring me? The truth of the matter is, the answer is none. If I've done 20 or 30 deals and you haven't done any, the only thing that's going to happen is I'm going to have to slow down and explain everything to you. I'm going to have to listen to your opinion about colors, about material selection, about this, about that, what you saw on TV here or saw online there. And at the end of the day, some of the stuff I'm going to hear, but I'm going to have a very clear plan of what I want to do regardless of your feedback. Because the truth of the matter is, I've done this 50 times and you've never done it. So not to say your opinion doesn't matter, but it kind of doesn't matter. So as an experienced investor, there truly is no value in me partnering with you other than to do you a favor. Now, with that, if you'd have come to me and said, hey, I want to partner 50-50, I would go through that, what I just explained, that would be my rationale. And ultimately I'd say, no, it's not worth my time, energy, money to make 50% of something I could do by myself and not have to deal with you at all. Now, if you came to me with what I proposed earlier, hey, Adonis, there's 20 hours of work to do, I'll do 16 of them. There's $10,000 of money to spend, I'll spend $7,500 of it. And there's $20,000 of money to make, and I only want 6, you take 14. Now, it makes sense because I can do less, pay less, make more, and all of that while helping you. So now I am incentivized to partner with you. But Adonis, how am I going to make money if I'm only getting 35%? Well, simple. Do you know that in real estate, trial by error is the most expensive thing you will ever do in this business? There is no amount of money I would have not paid someone to not lose $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in my first 2 or 3 deals. Matter of fact, my first deal, as long as I got just the money I put into it, I would have not taken $1 of profit to have someone walk me through everything I should do, but more importantly, everything I shouldn't do. And at this point, you got to ask yourself, or if I'm not even going to tell you to ask yourself, I'm going to tell you, experience is worth its weight in gold. There is no dollar that you are going to spend or save that will supplement experience in this business. In real estate, you don't lose hundreds of dollars. You lose thousands and tens of thousands of dollars if you do a project wrong. If you want to do it right, partner with someone who knows what they're doing, do more, pay more, take less. That will pay for itself 1,000,000 times over in your next 2 or 3 deals versus you going through trial by error. And I promise you, no matter how smart you are, no matter how diligent you are, no matter who you're plugged in with, if you do volume in this business, there are going to be deals you lose money. There are going to be relationships that go left that you are not going to handle properly. Get you a partner/mentor who can walk you through what to do, and it will pay for itself for the rest of your real estate investing career. I guarantee it. If there's anything I want you to take from this entire education series, take that seriously. Take that as the most serious thing I'm going to say in all of the chapters and all of the volumes and all of the modules. Take that the most serious. There is no amount of money I wouldn't have paid for someone to give me that advice. So with that said, as I mentioned, in this module, we were discussing verifying experience. We talked about what the lender experience requirements look like, how you can gain the lender's confidence by showing them a very thorough track record, how you can get higher leverage, better interest rate, lower origination fees, how you may be eligible for larger loan amounts or properties that may be outside of their scope. We talked about what you need to do to secure the proper documentation and how to successfully invite someone to be your partner to gain experience so the next project you can walk on and have that conversation that we just discussed. As always, it's been a pleasure joining with you. My name's Adonis Lockett. If you're watching our YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, find me on social media at Adonis Lockett, and of course, see you in the next module.